Hello everybody, it's Anna from Astral Tarot. It's time for some Thoth things. I hope you're into it. So I'm using my greenie today, and we're going to take a look at some of these cards because, as you all probably know, Thoth deck, any tarot deck, but honestly, especially Thoth deck, right? Out of all the traditional ones, is a deck that you will always find new little details in, new hidden symbols. There's just so much to learn, so much to explore. And today, basically, I want to get into some of these symbols, not the ones that the books usually explain, just the ones that caught my eye or that I found important. So basically the hidden symbols, and some of them are more obvious than others for sure, but I have a feeling that there's at least one symbol for everybody watching here that you didn't find for yourself. So it is my intent to dig up these little things in Lady Freddie Harris artwork from the Crowley deck. Let's start actually with one of the more obvious ones, but you're gonna love it if you haven't seen this yet. This is why I'm starting with the Chariot. All right, so I'm gonna do my best to show you, but I remember kind of freaking out when I first saw it because for quite a while I thought this right here, this part of the chariot, the roof, was just a decoration, but it actually says the word abracadabra. Not abrahadabra, like Crowley likes to say, but abracadabra. I checked. So, yeah, that's the first one right there. Let's look for more hidden symbols. Now, I'll advise you before we go any further, if you have a Thoth deck, take it out, look for the symbols with me in your own deck, because it's really where the magic is, isn't it? It's in the cards. It's not through the screen. It's in the cards. So this way you can see them in your own cards in real life as well. You know, we're tarot lovers and we're kind of getting lost, even though it's a lot of fun, right? In Tarot Tube, sometimes there's critiques, sometimes there's reviews that are, I don't know, controversial maybe, or just weird points of view, and it's all fine. We don't need to cancel each other. I'm not even talking about one thing in particular. I'm just saying Tarot Tube isn't just about whether we're supposed to purchase tarot decks or not, right? I know I participate in the conversation where I like to cull decks that I don't work with, usually, because I know from my own personal experience that having lots of decks is not good for me, is not good for my tarot practice. Just like I just said, I know that only watching tarot through a screen is not good for my own tarot practice either, because that's not what it's about. That's also one of the reasons I regretted saying I wanted a virtual reality tarot deck in, I don't know, 10 decks that don't exist tag. I'll link it somewhere. I definitely regretted saying that, and most people in the comment section were most excited about that idea, and I wish I could take it back because, I mean, it's not a big deal. Who cares, But I want things to be analog. Fuck digital. I'm sorry. Just, this is coming from someone who uploads every week and uses the internet on a daily basis, but not everything should be digitalized. The reason I pay cash is not because of some nostalgia idea. It's because cash means privacy. Privacy means freedom. When nobody knows what you're doing with your money, right? Then nobody will be able to tell you what to do with your money. It's as simple as that, and I can make it more complicated and bore you, but bottom line is, Tarot Tube is supposed to be fun, But don't forget that this is not the actual tarot practice. This is not the actual spiritual practice. I feel maybe sometimes, including myself, we forget that. We forget that it's actually about shuffling cards, holding cards, smelling cards, doing shadow work, if you're into that, just doing readings, journaling about it, discovering new things. So here we are either discovering things you already knew or new things. As I said, I think there's something for anybody watching this video. Yeah, I'm gonna take that chance and say that. Okay, so that was the Chariot. Here we have the Three of Discs. And I don't know if you took a close look at this card, but we actually have Mercury, Sulfur, and Salt symbols in the three discs. See? Mercury, sulfur, and salt. Here in the Knight of Swords, I feel a lot of people know this, and quite a lot of books still acknowledge this, but not every book, definitely not every book. In the knight's helmet, actually, those wings, there are words. It says north, south, east, and west. So you see, it's not just about, and it's starting to become like hanging out, just talking cards. But it's not just about, oh, look, there's a little symbol of for Mercury. It's also about, well, what does this mean then? Doesn't this kind of illuminate a part of the card that you usually don't use in readings, right? Because we all know what Knight of Swords means and what it does and what type of character traits this is. What part of you the Knight of Swords is in the Thoth deck. But knowing that he holds the what's it called? The directions of the wind. That's literally how we say that in Dutch. It kind of, I don't know, it changes for me. It means that he is very much aware of everything, that he knows where to go, that he feels which way the current is going, or when the wind changes and when it's time to make a different type of decision. Right? Right? Let's keep going. We have the Hangman, the nails that he has in his hand and feet. They're actually in the shape of yods. Maybe another letter. I think I heard somebody say another letter. But I think it's the shape of yods, these nails. And then actually there are these shapes that are repeated all over the cards. So we also have like small triangle or small squares, bigger triangles, different circles. So I think in Thelema, triangle, square, and circle means something. Maybe some type of unity and understanding of all. But that's actually a little bit of a guess at this point because I don't quite remember. If you know, of course, let me know. This video is so good for talking it out in the comments, I have a feeling, because I mean, I would be, if I were watching this video, I would be commenting like, this is my favorite hidden symbol. Have you noticed this? And what does it mean to you? I mean, I kind of get excited for that. Yeah, and Thoth is such a good deck, so. I don't want to include too many obvious hidden symbols. That's a contradiction right there, but everyone's eyes are different, if you know what I mean. And tarot, after all, is the art of seeing. And so there are many, many more hidden things in these cards that I'm sharing in this video, obviously. Things like a lot of the cards looking very phallic. That's no coincidence. We have the Hermit, the Devil, etc. Feel free to share your own discoveries below. Here we have our beautiful Empress. And yes, all right, so we know the Empress has bees on her dress. And I think I found this in my more modern Thoth deck, because here in the greenie it isn't very noticeable, but she has on a belt, and on that belt we see the signs of the zodiac. So it's a literal zodiac belt, if you will. I just thought that was interesting. And so, I don't know, is there a connection to the night? You know, in these, well, obviously there's the moon also. Maybe that's just it, you know. I don't know, zodiac belts, stars come out at night. That's when we see their light. Yeah, maybe there's a connection there. Okay, have you noticed this square around the head of Nuit? Isn't that strange? And her head looks like a circle, so we could be talking about squaring the circle. So, yeah, so this is Nuit, Babylon. At this point, isn't it the same figure? Something like that, right? Together with the snake, she becomes the lemniscate. See that? And then also this thing that I always like to do, also in the Rider-Waite-Smith, also in the Marseille, is when you turn this around, just like the Two of Swords in Marseille, this looks like an eye. And this same shape is seen at the bottom of the Princess of Cups card. That, my friends, looks like an eye. So, is the Princess of Cups opening up her own universe in her own world? I definitely see the page or the Princess of Cups like that, like a visionary. She has the vision. They have that vision. It's a childlike view on the world, and therefore everything feels new and everything can be beautiful. And that is a naive, childlike view on the world, but at the same time, isn't that actually very wise? Isn't that the way to live? The princesses understand this. I don't know, is it a paradox? They understand that both is true. The 10 of discs. Okay, I have a mystery for you guys, because I'm looking through old notes for this video, okay? This video has been planned for months. I'm not exaggerating. I said, what's painted over? So let's look at the card together. Is something painted over? Please feel free to take out your own 10 of discs. And apparently I saw somewhere, and I cannot find it. I saw somewhere that something seemed to be painted over. So obviously I want to know what was changed. But I can't even see the painted over the thing. I can't even see it anymore. But please help me out. If you weren't gonna leave a comment, at least comment this if you know it, or what you think it might be. Okay, just help a girl out, okay? We're talking Thoth, so it's important. Oh, right, the Two of Swords in what is this called? The hilts, the handles, who knows, of the swords. There are these teeny tiny angels. So here, this one's kind of obvious. Let me move my finger. I hope you can see that, because they're actually, this one is facing that way, and it's on his knees in a praying position, and it has little wings. And we see that also here, upside down, and there and there. So little angel figures. Right. Or maybe fairies, I don't know. But winged creatures that still look kind of human. So what could that be? Could it be maybe guides that guide you to a good decision? Or it's connected, of course, to the HGA, the Holy Guardian Angel, meaning the higher self. Maybe I would think higher self is connected to Lord of Peace, right? Yeah, I would say that. Okay, Six of Cups. This is a nod to my old friend from Lemniscate Logic, James. He actually told me that there are snakes hidden in the Six Cups. So if you can't see it in this card, take a look at your own deck and yeah, get to know these little snake babies. I realized I didn't address this mess. I just thought this looked cute, and this I had on my table, all the wishing stones. And some nail-like thingies that I don't know, I might get arrested for having that in my home. Okay, so we have the moon. Ooh, I really liked this one, the moon. So we have two watchtowers, right? Two watchtowers. And then the windows in the towers, one is open and one is closed, like a gate. So see that one is open, and you can actually see the little gate thingy, and that one is closed. It's like bars in front of the window. So I thought that was very cool. Yes, I thought that was very cool. Then also there's something with Anubis, let me think. Oh, yeah. So one Anubis, because this is Anubis, right, has a pupil drawn in its eye, and then the other one does not. See how the one with the open window has a pupil in its eye, and the one with the closed gate has no pupil. Now, you can tell me that's a coincidence, but I won't believe you. I just won't accept that. Because I don't know, that this would be a very long explanation, but maybe something along the lines of when it's open, you can see clearly, but then again, the no pupil thing, it's also about being very in tune with your higher self, with just this spirituality, in tune with the forces around you and what you're capable of doing. So maybe, I don't know, this could be an eye outwards to the outside world, and this, it's okay if the pupil isn't there, is if the gate is closed, if you can't see, basically, because that means you're turning inwards, and that's also what the moon's about. I know I'm making up things, but doesn't that kind of make sense? Also, I realized I didn't address it. The little snakes in the cups, well, snakes are obviously, because they shed their skin, about renewal, right? And that's a very beautiful thing. But also in the Western world, I know it's changing now, but for the longest time, snakes were a symbol of evil. And I know, of course, Thoth deck is filled with snakes. So it's about changing that perspective and actually challenging the masses, right? Also shocking the masses. Obviously, Crowley was this big showman who liked to shock people. Shock value, please. I kind of like that about this deck. Maybe it also kind of means that even the most beautiful, sweet, kind card, Lord of Pleasure, in the tarot, has a catch. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, Ace of Discs. This is a short one because this is in every book, but somehow I thought I would need to include this because in case you haven't seen it, it's gonna blow your mind. In here, it says 666. Yeah, Crowley thought of himself as the beast, the mark of the beast. The Aeon. Nuit has bands around her ankles and wrists. This is something I had not noticed immediately, Because why would a night goddess, who is the firmament, have these bands as if she belongs to someone? But these bands, maybe they're just decorative. Or she is earthbound, after all. I guess she is. But these little swiggle lines, they look like frequencies. Especially the ones on the feet. Little frequency lines. So is she trying to send us a message by being there? The Knight of Wands. We have a winged horse right there. It took me a while to see what that was, because the wings are in front of the horse. But that's a winged horse on his helmet. And then this horse, the black one that he rides, has a sun in its mouth. A little shining sun. And this is the explosion of power, right? The explosion of energy. And so I guess this means that the emphasis here is on the connection between the rider and the horse, how much in tune they are. They absorbed each other's power and strength. That's what I see in it. Here's another one from Sweet James, and this one I have seen in a book. 5 of Cups. We have the heart, the pentacle, and the butterfly. See that? And I've seen this referred to in a book as a circle, and then a pentacle or butterfly. And of course the butterfly is change, transformation, perhaps a deep transformation of the heart. 10 of Wands, Lord of Oppression, understanding what oppression means. So over here, down here, on these 2 wands. So we have this weird egg shape with horns on it. That could be a ram symbol. And I think I'm just putting this in this video because I haven't seen this in a book. So, I don't know, connection to the Emperor? I don't know. The Queen of Discs, our beautiful Queen of Discs. Okay, in this card, the emphasis is on the spiral. Everything is a spiral in this card. Have you noticed? From the pineapple that we see here, the type of cone, right? From the curves in her dress and her horns, obviously. Her staff is also all spiraling. Everything interlocks and it makes a whole. Also, the winding road in the back is maybe where her power unravels. Everything is a spiral. We know the whole universe is a spiral. And I guess the Queen of Discs knows this, feeds on it, works with it. Prince of Wands. This is interesting. There's a gesture, I feel, that the Prince of Wands makes. First of all, I mean, just this is common Thoth knowledge, but this guy is one of the 2 court cards that has pupils. All the other ones are either looking down, looking away, right? We actually see the facial expression here. We actually see the eyes. And this might be because Crowley thought of himself as the Prince of Wands. Anyway, have you ever noticed that he isn't actually holding the reins? It's more, the reins are placed over his wrist, over his arm, and he's gesturing in a way, it's more like presenting. He also has this dark halo. Can you see that? Once you see it, you can't unsee it. There's a dark halo and a winged lion's head. That's right there. That's the lion's head. And this big thing are the wings of that lion. So the presenting of of himself, rather, is very open, very sure of himself. Of course, because he's the Prince of Wands, but explosive power. Doesn't think twice about it. Knows he's worth it. Doesn't hold these reins at all, actually. It's just such confidence. And maybe also to some people cockiness. But the fact that he just trusts his lion there to just do it just because he wants it, because of his will is so powerful, and he trusts it, that is absolute confidence and trust in his own ability, in his own influence on the things around him. I think the fact that he doesn't hold his reins says something. 5 of discs. The discs coming together here make a Vesica Pisces opening in the middle. Negative space. So even though we're talking destruction, there's a new creation. The Princess of Swords. All I wanted to point out here is the shape that we see in her wings. You can see the little veins. See her wings? And please check it out on your own Thoth deck. There's a lot of detail there. You can see the little, I don't know, I call them veins, but you can see the little texture in her wings. These are her wings. Okay, this shape right there. Yeah. And then finally the Hermit. This is interesting because Cerberus here, the three-headed dog, actually has a collar on. Can you see that? All 3 heads have this dark blue collar, which I assume means they belong to the Hermit, or it belongs to the Hermit. I never thought that Cerberus would belong to anybody like a dog. Anyway, I don't like to think that way. I have a dog, and I consider me to be the dog's human, you know, and also the dog to be mine, but we belong to each other, kind of thing. But here it suggests a kind of mastery over this mythical creature, which also is very known and very powerful. It's not just about the Hermit. We actually have a mythical creature here. It's about the past, present, and future, and they have a collar on. I don't know why that disturbs me so much, but if I were to make something positive of it, is that it suggests that you don't only have the present moment. You actually can manipulate, to a certain extent, in a magical sense, the past and the future and the present. I don't know if that makes sense, but this thought came up and it said, that's what it said, and it's more of a thought than words, putting it into words, but well, I hope it made sense to somebody. So, I mean, obviously I could have talked about all of this, or about all of this, but there are some things that are very obvious, some things that I frankly don't know everything about, who these people are, etc. But I mean, I would love to know your favorite hidden symbol in the Thoth, and if there is maybe a different meaning that you can think of about a symbol that I showed in this video. I would really love to hear. And who out there is still completely obsessed with Thoth? Because it is such a good deck. It's actually so good that the bar is so high to get a Thoth-based deck for me that I just tend to not like them enough to get them. It's weird. I love Rider-Waite-Smith too, but I'm more okay with getting Rider-Waite-Smith clones than I am with getting Thoth clones, because I do compare. I do compare. I don't see how, at this point, I just expect that it will change at some point, but I don't see the point of getting a new Thoth-based deck with similar imagery, except that the imagery to me is always less cool and amazing and deep and magical than this. Because this is is the real thing. It's channeled, you can feel how potent it is. And everything that comes after it is just, it might be cool, but still, to me, it's less cool. So, well, there you go. That's again my 2 cents on this topic that we're always talking about, and I participate in it. That isn't about tarot itself. We are again talking about purchasing decks or not. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying, for the people who have channels, we're allowed to express ourselves, right? And for the people in the comment section, same for you. But I don't really know if I'm participating to any conversation that's going on at this very moment by stating these things, but it's just thoughts, and they're all part of being a part of TarotTube, to be honest. And again, let's keep this a fun, welcoming place, because I might be starting to get more and more people with negative experiences from being on YouTube or even in the comment section. I just want to say, we don't have to agree on everything. Absolutely not. Let's start there. Okay, people are allowed their opinions. But also people are allowed respect. I really don't know what I wanted to say, but I just want to end with, don't forget, tarot through a screen is not actual tarot. Look at your cards, hold your cards, shuffle your cards if you can. Get to know the voice of your particular deck. What do these cards mean to you? What did they tell you throughout the years? What did they tell you? Not what did I or anybody else out there on YouTube tell you what the Thoth deck told them. And then just assume that everybody's going to get similar messages from these cards. Whether it's a good review or bad review, or you know what I mean with review. To me, Thoth is fiery, but also it can be very loving. It can be. And the tarot in itself as a whole is just such a wonderful, wonderful tool. So how about we express more the love for tarot? Tarot being almost a verb, if you know what I mean. Let's tarot. Is that weird? And I don't want to sound like I have it all figured out. Okay, I'm better. No, no, no. I just want to say what I said. I know I'm being vague. I'm sorry, guys. It's not my intention to be unclear either, but how about we try to not get lost in the tarot tube, in the what we're supposed to say or supposed to think, and just go back to your own practice, because I know that for most of us, that's how it started. Don't let something that has its ups and downs, like tarot tube, ruin your experience or taint your experience or influence your experience, even when it's well intended. That's enough. That's my little rant. This little thing included into a video that's not about that at all. Anyway, let me know what you think of what I just said. Please again let me know what's your favorite hidden symbol or symbols, and help me out with that 10 of discs because something was painted over. I'm sure of it, otherwise I wouldn't have written it down. And now I need to know what it was, but I don't even know which part of the card it was. Anyway, thank you all for being here, and I mean that. I will see you in the comment section. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.